Because of the panic created by Burgoyne's approach, Stark was able to recruit 1,500 militiamen within the space of 1 week. Among those responding to the call was Seth Warner, with his New Hampshire militia unit known as the Green Mountain Boys.
March!
Ethan Allen had been the leader of the boys and would be again. But Allen at this time was a prisoner of the British. Seth Warner was in charge.
Baum set out with his 200 dismounted Brunswick Dragoons, 50 German riflemen known as Jägers. He had nearly 40 Brunswick infantry, about 100 Indians, 50 British light infantry marksmen, 400 loyalist militia, and 2 small cannons with 13 artillerymen.
Yeah, we should get more militia.
Colonel Stark sent orders for all of the scattered American forces to assemble at Bennington. Stark left Bennington and marched west with about 400 men to intercept the Indians.
Baum's force soon encountered a small detachment of Americans guarding some stockpiles of food in a mill. Baum's superior force quickly drove off the Americans and captured the supplies. Baum sent word to Burgoyne about this action and told the British commander that there was supposed to be a small enemy force in Bennington, but these were expected to flee with the approach of the Hessians. Baum quickly realized that he was facing a much larger force than he expected, and that force was not running away as expected. Baum sent a message to Burgoyne that reinforcements were needed as soon as possible.
Reinforcements.
In response to Baum's plea for reinforcement, Burgoyne sent Oberstleutnant Heinrich Breimann with about 650 Hessians. Breimann's force consisted of 330 Brunswick Grenadiers and 280 light infantry. The Hesse-Hanau artillery brought 2 cannons that fired 6-pound balls and 30 men to operate them.
Bayonet in front of no, just bayonet. Quickly! Expecting
the Americans to attack, the Hessians retreated to a hill and dug in. Baum received some welcome, but unexpected reinforcements when a small party of loyalists arrived.
Boys, yonder are our enemies, the Tories and the Redcoats. They are ours. If we do not win tonight, Molly Stark sleeps a widow.
When Baum saw Stark's men disappearing into the trees, he assumed they were withdrawing. The Americans approached both flanks of the Hessian lines.
Stark used a clever trick to infiltrate Baum's lines. He knew that the Loyalist militia adorned their hats with white pieces of paper, so they could tell themselves apart from their identically dressed enemies. So Stark had his men do the same thing. This little deception allowed the Americans to get right into the Hessian lines. Stark led the attack on the center, which was the cue for the American militia to remove their white pieces of paper from their hats and start shooting.
Reload! Reload!
The Tories, the Indians, and the Canadians heard firing going on all around them and quickly retreated when they realized they were surrounded. But the Brunswick Dragoons held off the Americans for about 2 more hours. Then they ran out of ammunition. At about 5 p.m., the Dragoons, led by their commander, attempted to cut their way out with swords. But soon, Oberstleutnant Baum was killed. With the death of their commander, the desperate Hessians finally surrendered. At about the same time, the long-awaited reinforcements arrived. Heavy rain had delayed Bryman and his 650 men. They were too late to save Baum's detachment, yet the Hessians' reinforcements came at an opportune moment. The Americans were looting the supply wagons, corralling prisoners, and chasing the fugitives of Baum's command.
Got it. Fire!
The Hessians charged and were beginning to drive the disorganized Americans back.
But just in the nick of time, Seth Warner and his Green Mountain Boys appeared.
Bryman personally commanded the rear guard and held the Americans long enough for a few hundred of his men to escape and reunite with Burgoyne.
In all, the independence-minded Americans lost about 70 men killed and wounded. But the Hessians lost more than 200 men killed or wounded, and about 700 were taken prisoner. The Battle of Bennington, which was fought on August 16, 1777, turned out to be a critical blow to Burgoyne's plans. It reduced the size of the British Army by 1,000 men. It set the stage for Burgoyne's total defeat 2 months later in the turning point battle of the Revolutionary War, Saratoga.